And welcome to the stream's coverage of Titusville Rockets swimming. Mike Holischek, Jim Bodemer, and Luke Rio set to bring you all the exciting action as the Eagles of Grove City are here to take on the Titusville Rockets. Good evening, Jim.
Hey, Luke, it's good to be with you in a nice warm environment here this evening. If you followed us on the stream in the past years, you know that we complain all the time about 110 degrees in the natatorium, but a whole lot better than 12 below outside. So it's good to be here. Good match coming up tonight. Good meet. Grove City's coming in here with a very, very strong team. Titusville boys especially been swimming very well lately, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these two teams go at it here this evening as Grove City's trying to wrap up the region. They're a boys team coming in at 11-0. So what can Kevin Dawson do with the Titusville boys to try to upset Grove City tonight? We'll have to wait and see, but looking forward to it, Luke. Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Kevin Dawson, the head coach of the Titusville Rockets, Jim, mentioning that Grove City is not just good, they are very good.
Yeah.
And coming from a Titusville squad who's had lots of success over the years, that's saying something.
Yeah, when you get the kind of compliments that we've been hearing here at the pool side this evening for the Grove City team, you know they're going to be very good. In fact, I've even heard comments, and I've read in some of the Mercer County writings that this team could be a state contender, Grove City. They're very, very strong. And, I was on Max Preps today, and they don't even put Pennsylvania down as a swim state.
Really?
They only have like 5 down. I was trying to look for some information for our broadcast tonight. I found that kind of ironic because Titusville has, as you mentioned, has always had a good swim program. So has Grove City, and of course this year Grove City is very strong. And you don't see them spending a whole lot of time and Max Preps recognizing. Now it could be our districts don't turn them in for those particular sports, but I'm going to have fun watching this as they go through the regions and into districts and into state playoffs, see how well Grove City and Titusville compete at the next level. It should be very, very interesting.
I find it fascinating, Jim. Growing up, I'm sure in your era, it was, basketball, baseball, things you could play at the park, things you could play out on the street.
Right.
Today, it seems like those sports have been replaced. When it comes to actually focusing on the youth, with wrestling, swimming, strong programs very early on. Now, I know there's summer baseball and there's soccer now, but it just seems like here in Titusville, wrestling and swimming have become very, very powerful sports.
They have, traditionally. And speaking of wrestling, we got a match going on over in the gymnasium this evening. Mo Burns and the squad going at it. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. It has. And it's interesting because we need to mention this. You always mention this in our swim meets, Luke. The feeder program for our high school is the YMCA. It has been through the Y over the years that we developed our swim program here at Titusville. And so they work kind of hand in hand with what's going on. So it's really quite exciting.
Contest. Good sportsmanship is everyone's responsibility. Booing, taunting, inappropriate language, and intimidating officials, players, and/or coaches have no place in high school athletics and will not be tolerated.
I don't know why I always feel they're talking directly to us.
Well, when I was coaching, believe me, they were. But we're kind of passive right now. We got excited down at Pitt the other night, but at the ball game. But I am a lot better behaved now that I no longer have kids playing and/or coaching. So.
Welcome to Titusville Area School District's presentation of Titusville Rocket Sports on the Stream.
Is the girls' 200-meter medley relay. Swimming for Grove City in lane 3, Decker, Wendell Schaefer, Reynolds, Rastatter. Lane 5, McNabb, Zamora, Schmidt, Baglia. Swimming for Titusville, lane 2, Baldwin, Wright, Johnson, Bloom. Lane 4, O'Brien, Bish, Hutchinson, Schneider. Lane 6, Neely, Couch, Lesko, Halad.
All set to go into the first of the races this evening. This will be the medley relay for ladies. 200 medley. Start with the backstroke. Titusville swimming in lanes 2, 4, and 6. Theoretically, the team in lanes 3, 4, and 5 are your strongest team, and that would be Brittany O'Brien, and then Emily Bish, Kara Hutchison, Alex Schneider for the Rockets in lane 4. In lane 3 for Grove City will be Renee Decker, Addie Reynolds, Kim Wendelschleifer, and Emma Rastetler. So end of the first stroke. Again, the backstroke, this is the 200 medley. And as we get underway here, It looks like the Titusville Rockets with a little bit of a lead here. Although over in lane 5, I see 2-3. Lane 3 is leading. I'm sorry, I had that wrong. And that is Grove City in the lead. Grove City swimming 1 and 2 right now in this event. Titusville swimming 3-4. That'll be pretty easy for me to see. Luke, they got GC on their swim caps.
Well, that's a start.
How do you miss that?
I'm glad the School of Broadcasting is helping you out this year.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you hired the handicap. I'd have nothing to do in the evenings. Finishing up in the breaststroke in Grove City again, swimming in lanes 3 and 5 in the first, second position here in this 200 medley relay. Third swimmer in for Grove City will be Addie Reynolds in lane 3 and Eric Schmidt in lane 5. For Titusville, now swimming in lane 4 will be Kara Hutchison, swimming in third position. Over here in lane 2, swimming in fourth position for Titusville is Barry Johnson. So Grove City now will send their last swimmer in. This will be freestyle. And they're well out in front, both in first and second place. Second place swimmer for Grove City is into the water now. And this will be rounding it out Rastetler for Grove City, along with Baglia for Grove City, swimming 1-2. For the Rockets, you have, let me check here. Schneider for the Rockets swimming in lane 5. Check that, lane 4 for Titusville. In lane 2, the Rockets swimming in fourth place. This is Stacy Bloom. So Grove City is going to pick up 1-2 here in the medley, and Rockets will pick up 3, 4, and 5. Winning time 2:16.9. 2:16.9. Not bad. Not bad time. That Titusville's team in first place must have been just a little bit, come in a little bit higher than what their time printed here for us. They had printed the time here at 2:12.9 for Titusville, well under that. So again, you have this, and we haven't followed the girls closely, but you have this situation where you're trying to place one race against another for the point system. So we'll have to talk with the coaches as to how they do that.
There's a total of 22 events tonight, Jim.
Reynolds, lane 5, Brothers, Shaw, Rastatter, Kengor. Swimming for Titusville in lane 2, McAllister, Youngkin, Edwards, Crispin. Lane 4, Signs, Coates, Dieter, Mellenbacher. Lane 6, Signs, Custer, Side.
Titusville again, the boys now in the 200 will start out in the backstroke, and they're swimming in lane 2, 4, and 6. I'll try to get them right this time. Chances are slim and none of that happening, Luke, so don't get your hopes up. And off the blocks. Grove City underwater a long way in lane 3. Come up with the lead about half length of the pool, as Grove City is going to pull out here with the lead as they make the flip on the backstroke. Second, third, and fourth places, though, very, very tight. Titusville in lanes 2 and 4. Now right now in lane 5, Grove City's pulling out a little bit. That would be Crothers of Grove City is swimming in second place. First place is going to touch out, and that'll be Wilson, and he'll give it off now to Tom Samora, who will be swimming the breaststroke, and he has probably a 3 to 5 meter lead, as you can see. Swimming in lane 5 for Grove City here in the breaststroke, Garrett Shaw, but being challenged a bit in the fourth lane by Matt Coke, of Titusville. Making the turn on the second leg of this medley for the boys. Grove City swimming 1 and 2. Titusville fading a little bit right now in this relay. Into the pool now for Grove City is Porthrack. Hope I pronounced that correctly, Rockwell. And he's out in front with the fly. In lane 5 will be Will Ratstarter. Swimming in the second position for Grove City. For Titusville, in lane 4 is Austin Dieter, excuse me. He is swimming in third position. Grove City boys now into the freestyle, well out in front. They're going to take 1-2 here in the medley for the boys. We're probably going to see here, Luke, in the first few races just how strong Grove City will be. If they've loaded up their relays, you can see their best 50 and 100 freestylers. You'll see their best backstrokes, breaststrokes, and so on. All 4 strokes will be displayed here. They come in with a winning time of 1:59.1.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty quick time. That's well under what they have enlisted here at 2:05. So if these numbers we have are their best times coming into the night, they just beat it by 6 seconds. Second place, 2:07.5. Third place will go to Titusville. Check that. It'll go to Titusville, and it will be 2:12.8. So Grove City takes 1 and 2 here in the relay. After one event, 12-2, Grove City girls on top.
Lane 3, Decker. Lane 5, Reynolds. Swimming for Titusville, lane 2, Bealey. Lane 4, Estock. Lane 6, Kinney.
And we're going to go now to the freestyle, 200-meter freestyle, 4 lengths of the pool. And for Titusville, Samantha Foley, Morgan Estock, and Brooke Kenny. For Grove City will be Renee Decker. She's in lane 3. And over in lane 5 will be Addie Reynolds. And right now, as they make the turn to first length of the pool, Grove City is swimming 1-2. Titusville staying right with them. In lane 4, that's Morgan Estock staying right with them. So this should be good if it keeps up like this, Mr. Halad. Should be a good race as Titusville's Estock now is pulled up, and on the turn, we're all even. Good turn by Grove City. In lane 3, Renee Decker had a really good flip. As we come down now to the last 50, Grove City first, Titusville second, Grove City third, but it's tight, especially for second and third place.
Those turns are so important, Jim.
Oh, they make a big difference, just kind of like the handoffs in a relay and track. You mess that up and you're in big trouble. Here comes the flip now, halfway through. In lane 3, Renee Decker of Grove City well out in front. Pulling out a little bit of a lead now. Estock of Titusville still hanging on to second place. And in lane 5, it is Addie Reynolds of Grove City. She and Morgan Estock of Titusville swimming hard for that second place spot. First place is not out of line right now for Titusville. If Morgan can kick it in here coming up the last 2 lengths. Right now, as they make the turn, 2 lengths of the pool to go, Decker's starting to open up a little bit of a lead. 200 is a little bit like your half mile in track. You pace a little bit. It's not, but it's a really hard race. As they make the turn for the final, it'll be Decker of Grove City out in front by about 3 meters, and Morgan Estock and Addie Reynolds of Grove City battling. Reynolds now with a bit of a lead over Morgan. Morgan's pulling hard. It's going to be a last 10 meters, going to be very close for second place. Grove City first place. Second place, it will be Grove City touching out just ahead of Morgan. Second place, 2:22.1. Third place, 2:22.6. Half a second. So just enough of a reach. Good race. Good race. Go down to the boys 200 freestyle.
Jim, we talked about the turns, and sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but also getting off the blocks is important. This is the start of.
Now you can see how quickly Grove City got off the block. Morgan was just a little bit behind on that start. So those are all important things: the starts and the turns. Any sprint, and again I go back to track, and starts are so critical.
Swimming for Titusville, lane 2, Crispin.
John Crispin,
Lane 4,
Shane Steffi,
lane 6,
and
Baker.
Sly Baker will be swimming for Titusville, lanes 2, 4, and 6 respectively. Will Hannon, Ben McKnight, and Mitch Kengor for Grove City. Again, watch lanes 3, 4, and 5. They're usually the lanes that you have your strongest swimmers in. As we come out and go for the first 50. It'll be John, check that, it'll be Steffi, Shane Steffi with a good start, and he's going to turn. It's McKnight and Steffi. McKnight for Titusville, or check that,
Ava,
for Grove City,
happy to see
and Steffi for Titusville, swimming 1-2 here at the end of the first 2 lengths of the pool. On the turn, it will be, they'll call it even. Titusville maybe just a little bit ahead. Titusville swimming even right now with Grove City as they have come through the first 3 lengths of the pool.
And Titusville having a really good year. Their big loss was to Grove City.
Yeah. Which is true of every school that's swimming against Grove City this year in the boys department. As they get
Exciting
back
Grove City football game, though, Jim.
Yeah. You remember that one, don't you? Yeah, I do too. On the touch, it will be in lane 3, McKnight of Grove City with a slight lead over Steffi, but certainly anybody's race right now for first place. Third place is going to be a battle also. Titusville swimming in lanes 2 and 2 and 6 is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Right now, Grove City is still a little bit of a lead. And that's McKnight, Ron McKnight on the turn. Gets the turn a little bit ahead of Steffi. Shane Steffi of Titusville. He's listed at a 2:13. McKnight's listed at a 2:10. So there's a 3-second difference according to the times that's listed on our sheets. And now McKnight has opened up a bit of a lead as he makes the last turn.
Well, he had a good flip down on the other end, got a good kick off.
And you can see he's increased his strokes.
Yeah.
And he's pulling hard. Now he's going to win this by about a body length, about 5 meters as he touches out. Steffi gets second place for Titusville. And the winning time is 2:11.05. Titusville's time in second place, 2:12.9. So close race. A little bit off the pace that Steffi has. Actually, that's not true. Steffi swam a 2:13 here. It shows a 2:12. So he improved by about a second.
You know, the thing about swimming, we talk about this too throughout our sports broadcasting, Jim, is the sports where you participate as a team, but there's also that individual part of it.
Yeah, it is. And even though Grove City may have a powerful team, that doesn't mean that some of the Titusville boys won't be going on into a higher level of swimming in districts and so on. This is a tough one. This is the 200-meter IM, individual medley relay. You got to swim all 4 strokes. And Hannah Wright will be swimming in lane 2 for Titusville, as will in lane 4 Jasmine Young, and in lane 6 Tori Baldwin. For Grove City, Aaron Schmidt and Jenny Bagley will be swimming in lanes 3 and 5 respectively. So just 5 lanes being used here in this. They start out with the fly. As they come up for the first length of the pool, it will be Young of Titusville making the turn first. Swimming very strong right now in the fly. This is another one of those races, Luke, where you may be a very strong breaststroke or very strong fly, and so when you swim that particular stroke, that's your strength, you want to go as fast as you can because the other gals may have a freestyle or a different stroke, and they'll be coming up on you. Going to the backstroke now, Titusville still swimming in first place, very close for first and second. That would be between Young and Baglia. Young of Titusville, Bagley of Grove City, swimming in third position. I'm sorry, that would be Schmidt swimming for Grove City. And Young, Bagley in lane 5 swimming in third position. Get my lanes right here, Luke.
I just remember, Jim, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. Different strokes.
Different strokes for different folks, huh? That'd make a good television program. Different strokes.
I don't think it'd ever. No.
Probably never work, huh? On the turn now, they'll come up into the breaststroke, and it is Schmidt of Grove City.
I always enjoy this, Jim. On the screen, you can see teammates cheering their swimmers on.
Yeah, that's always been a good time. You can hear them tell them when to pull on the stroke. Yeah. And you can see them at this end of the pool really cheering. Aaron Schmidt leads as they make the turn over in lane 5. Bagley now is taking over second place. There again, see, we're talking about the strength of those strokes. It could be, and I don't know this for a fact, but it could be that Young's best stroke was the fly. This seems to be a weaker stroke for her, therefore she's falling back, whereas the swimmers Schmidt and Baglia are pulling away here a little bit with this particular stroke. Freestyle coming up. It's the last stroke.
I did well freestyle and backstroke, Jim. I wasn't a swimmer, but I enjoyed that more. Breaststroke and butterfly, it took too much out of you. I give these guys a lot of credit who have to swim butterfly or breaststroke.
I was good at the rock stroke, right to the bottom.
Right to the bottom.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Grove City swimming 1-2. It looks like that's how it's going to end up. Aaron Schmidt in lane 3 for Grove City will take 1. Jenny Bagley is swimming over in lane 5 will get 3. And Titusville's Aaron Schmidt, check that, Titusville's Jasmine Young will pick up the third place points. Winning time 2:49.4. 2:48 seems to be her best time for Titusville. Third place 2:57.7. And that's a little bit slower than what she has on the board. We have a 2:54 for her, so a little bit slower tonight for her. So the gals get 1 and 3, we get 2.
Yeah, now here's how that whole race began as they got off the blocks here. Chance to see who kind of got a better start on things.
Yeah, as we go into, as we complete that race, it's 24-6. Grove City girls on top. The boys are behind 23-7 after 2 events. Going into the boys individual medley, Ryan Sines, Max Hollister for Titusville, McAllister and Robert Youngkin will be swimming for Titusville. For Grove City, Matt Ory, Thomas Samora, and Garrett Shaw as they're on the blocks ready for the start. Girls now are down 34-12 after 3 events. This is the boys IM, and off quickly in lane 3 it will be Thomas Samora of Grove City, makes the turn. Titusville swimming in lane 4, Max McAllister swimming in second place right now. Over in lane 5 now, Garrett Shaw with a good turn has pulled into second place. So Grove City swimming 1-2 here in this event in the IM.
I'll tell you what, for Titusville, Jim, Ryan Sines and Max McAllister, both very good swimmers, very aggressive, worked very hard over the years. Fun to watch.
Well, it's one of these sports that you better start young in. There's a lot of technique involved in swimming that we don't really...
Conditioning.
Conditioning and strength. I mean, there's just so many things that go into being a good swimmer. And those of us who are not good swimmers don't really understand the amount of time and effort that these kids put in. It's kind of like soccer. You see these kids starting at 3, 4, 5 years of age. That's the way swimming has to be also. And the backstroke is finished, and it will be Grove City making the turn. It has Tom Samora well out in front. Over in lane 5, Garrett Shaw swimming in second position. Titusville McAllister, Max McAllister swimming in third as they go into the breaststroke. I was watching Kevin Dawson, coach of the Titusville team, during warm-ups, working with some of the boys on their turns. We're late in the season, and we still coach them. We're still working on fundamental things. And how many times do we talk when we do our broadcast, Luke, about fundamentals? And here's Kevin down here working with these kids on his position of the leg on the turn with one of the boys. Now, I have no idea what that means. I was just watching him talking about the position of the swimmer's leg. They make the turn into the last leg of the IM freestyle, and Samora is still out in front. He's going to win this. And second place is being held by Garrett Shaw over in lane 5 of Grove City. Titusville yet to make the turn for the freestyle, and that is Max McAllister. Now he's turned. He's in his freestyle. As Samora is back, headed the other way for the touch out, as is his teammate Shaw. So coming down and touching out, it'll be Grove City 1-2. Titusville will get 3-4 here. But a very strong showing again by these Grove City boys. First place, 2:27.2. And I have him at a 2:19.8, so it's a little bit slower than what he has in the past. 2:18, that's a 9-second. He must be quick when he gets it together, huh?
You know, I mentioned...
well, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. 2:19.8, okay.
Okay.
That's where he's at now. So
I mentioned 22 events, Jim.
Yeah.
2 of my boys are in the Y program. And on a Saturday, there's usually between 78 and 82 events.
Wow.
So you talk about a lot of kids involved.
50-meter freestyle.
Here's the quick one, 50-meter freestyle. Lane 1, a check at 2 for Titusville, Sarah Hasbrook. Lane 4 is Hannah Leach. That's a name familiar to swimming. And Alexa Schneider in lane 6. Steph Schaefer in lane 1. Emma Rastetler in lane 3. And Ashley McNabb in lane 5 for Grove City. We talk about starts and turns being important. It's really important in this. This is a quick one. Two lengths to the pool. They come up at the end of the first length. It's going to be Rastetler, and no, it's Titusville in front. And I believe that is Hannah Leach. As they start pulling back, Hannah Leach, it's going to be close. Hannah Leach still holding on to the lead. In lane 3, Rastetler. Hannah Leach is going to hang in there. She's going to win this. Hannah Leach, first place. Good job. 28-8. And we have Hannah here on our sheets at 28-9, so that's one of her better times.
Let's watch how they got off the blocks. Good start, good start.
Notice how slow it was, lane 4 or 6 over there, maybe it was. You could just see their legs that far behind. Just incredible, just a half a second. And these sprints makes the difference. Okay, let's go to the boys 50. And we'll see how this is going to go. Will Rastetler for Grove City, lane 1. Seth Mollenbacher in lane 2 for Titusville. Austin Wilson, Grove City 3. Austin Decker, Titusville 4. Devin Reynolds, lane 5, Grove City. And Stephen Hollabaugh in lane 6, Titusville. So again, Titusville 2, 4, and 6. Grove City 1, 3, 5 in the lanes. This will be quick also. We're looking at about a 25-second swim here. Off the blocks. Coming out quickly, and it will be Grove City out in front as they come up to the touch out in lane 3. Switch, it looks like Austin Wilson. Bit of a lead. Now coming on in lane 4 is Dieter of Titusville. But it looks like it's going to be Wilson. Wilson coming up, and Wilson's going to touch first. Titusville will get second. 25-5. Titusville comes in at 26-3. So a little bit slower. We have Wilson at 24-6.
Again, here's the guys getting off the blocks.
At this time, we will be taking a break, and in a few minutes, we will be acknowledging the parents.
Parent night here. As they take a break, we'll take a quick break ourselves. Get the scoring together. This is Titusville Rocket Swimming on the stream. We'll be right back.
Event number 9 is the girls 100-meter butterfly. Swimming for Grove City, lane 3, Reynolds, lane 5, Schmidt. Swimming for Titusville, lane 2, Young, lane 4.
And welcome back, Titusville Rockets Swimming. Luke Rio, Jim Bodemer, Mike Holoschek.
All set to go here, Luke. We're going to start off now the second half of the meet with girls 100 butterfly. For Titusville, lane 2, Jasmine Young, lane 4, Kara Hutchison, lane 6, Samantha Feely. For Reynolds in lane 3, Abby Reynolds, and in lane 5, Erin Schmidt. And as we come up, it'll be Reynolds for Grove City touching out first. And, well, second place over in lane 2 right now is Young of Titusville. In lane 4 for Titusville, Hutchison swimming in third place, but getting a lot of pressure right now from Schmidt in lane 5 of Grove City. Making the turn at 50, it is Grove City out in front. And that would be Addie Reynolds. Swimming in second place right now in lane 2, Young. In lane 4, Hutchison challenging her. Titusville swimming 2-3 right now as they finish 3/4 of the way through on the turn. This is one of those strokes, Luke, that you talk about getting tired. This is one of the really strength coach needs to be involved in your life here. Making the turn, coming back, and it'll be Addie Reynolds of Grove City. And in second place, it'll be Hutchison of Titusville. Third place is the battle now between Young of Titusville and Schmidt of Grove City. Titusville gets a second. Grove City first, Titusville second, Titusville third. So Titusville gets a 2-3 here with a first place time of 1:17. about 2 seconds off of her fastest time. Titus will come in second place at 1:20. And that's about 2 seconds off of her fastest time also. Go now to the men's 100 fly. In lane 1, Mitch Kengor of Grove City. Joshua Custer in lane 2. Rockwell Pogrant of Grove City is in 3. Austin Deere of Titusville lane 4. And John Crothers, Grove City. So Titusville has 2 boys, Custer and Dieter, in lanes 2 and 4 for the Rockets here in the boys 100 fly. Looked like a pretty good start for everybody. Luke will have to show that when we get back here, because we have lanes 3, 4, and 5 pretty much even. Lane 3 right now is going to be the leaders. They touch out, and that would be Pogrant of Grove City. Going to open up a little bit of lead, about a body length lead as they come down and touch out halfway through the race at the 50s. And the touch, it will be Grove City 1, and Grove City Titusville swimming for number 2 spot. Grove City with a good turn over lane 5 might have the lead right now, and that would be John Crothers of Grove City. So it will be Grove City in 1 in first and second place right now as they make the turn. Coming down and touching out, and it'll be in lane 3, Rockwell Pogrant of Grove City, coming in at a 105.2. And in second place, John Crothers of Grove City, and he'll be in at 109. Titusville will get a 3rd and a 4th in this event. Third will be 114.23, and that would be Dieter of Titusville. So Titusville gets a 2-3, check that, a 3-4 here in this event.
Here's a replay, Jim, courtesy of Oil Creek Plastics.
Pretty even start by everybody. 49-29. Grove City girls on top. The boys are on top, 56-22 over the Titusville boys. We are in the 100-meter freestyle for girls. O'Rourke for Grove City. Hasbrook for Titusville. Rastetler for Grove City. Leach for Titusville, lane 4. Lane 5, Bagley of Grove City. Lane 6, Schneider. If you remember the 50 free, these are about the same names. So these are your best freestylers for both teams. One of the things that you see at this late in the season, and this is just an uneducated comment, most of mine are, I guess, but you're going to see these kids trying to get themselves prepared for the regions and districts, etc. So you'll see your better swimmers. They'll be staying in the events that they expect to swim at in the tournament.
Correct.
After 50, it's going to be Leach of Titusville out in front over in lane 4. It's just a slight lead over Rastetler, Emma Rastetler of Grove City.
Go, Sarah!
Third place is going to be very even right now in lane 2. Sarah Hasbrook is swimming along with her partner, teammate Alexis Schneider, over in lane 6 for the 3rd place spot. Right now, Titusville is going to pull out in the lead here. That's going to be Hannah Leach. As she touches out, she'll get 1st place. 2nd place will go to Grove City. 3rd goes to Titusville in lane 2. So we get a 1-3 out of this at a 108, check 104.8 for Hannah Leach. And that's about her best time. We have her in here on papers at 104. So we go to the boys 100 free. And it will be for Titusville, Steve Hollabaugh in lane 2, Logan Sines in lane 4, and Seth Mullenbacher in lane 6. For Grove City, Will Rastetler. Rastetler will be in lane 1. Austin Wilson will be in lane 3, and Devin Reynolds will be in lane 5. As the swimmers get up on the blocks, 55-39 after the 100 for the girls. And scored, Grove City on top by 16. And we get into the water on the 100 free. Austin Wilson of Grove City swims this under a minute. He's in at a 55, so he should be the favorite. He is the leader on the first turn. Swimming in second place in lane 4 is Logan Sines, also a good swimmer. Over in lane 5 will be Devin Reynolds of Grove City, swimming well also. He now has second place sewed up at the end of 50. 2 laps to go. 2 lengths of the pool to go. On the turn, it is Wilson of Grove City still out in front by a lot. Now in lane 5 with a slight lead over Titusville is Devin Reynolds, with Logan Sines swimming beside him here in lane 4. So it could be a good finish for second place here if Logan can start pulling. He's about a half a body length behind. Over here in lane 2 for Titusville is Hollabaugh, and he's now battling for third place. Second place will go to Grove City, first and second. First place is 57.1. Second place will come in at 1 minute flat, and third place goes to Titusville at 1:02. So Titusville picks up a third place, and Titusville will also pick up a fourth place. So we get a couple places out of that, but obviously not enough to pick up a lot of points, as they are down by quite a bit here going into this next event. This will be the girls' 400-meter freestyle. It'll be Wright, Estock, and Lesko for Titusville. Marjak for Grove City in 1, Wendell Schaefer in 3, and Samora in 5 for Grove City. This is the 400-meter freestyle, a little bit longer. Soon to come into some of our favorite races. These are the longer ones coming up now. And it takes a bit of time to swim this 400. So like, 16 lengths of the pool, something like that.
I'm always amazed, Jim. We talk about the stamina and the practicing, and those who are swimming the 400s, you're working and trying to figure out the right pacing.
Well, it is. It's kind of like the 3,200 runners in, in track. You're right. You have to figure out your pacing, and you learn that by getting out there and doing it. Of course, your conditioning over this off season is critical. But you learn as you swim as to what you can and can't do pace-wise. I don't know how in the world would you swim this long, Luke, and then have something at the end to sprint. But we see that a lot even in track, and you'll see it here in the pool tonight. Grove City in lane 3, swimming in first place. Titusville in lane 4, swimming in second place. Let me check the names here. 3 is Wendell Schaefer of Grove City. Estock of Titusville swimming in second place in lane 4. We are in lap 5, length 5, lap 5, however you want to call it, as they make their turn. Grove City still swimming in first place. Titusville still hanging on to second, but just about a body length maybe. They make the turn, coming back the other way. It will be Wendell Schaefer of Grove City. No time in here for her for this event, so we don't know what her best might be. Morgan Estock of Titusville in lane 4, swimming in second place now, opening up a little bit of a lead over Kelly Samora of Grove City in 5. 7th length of the pool. This is Mike Holochek's favorite race. He said, I don't know how to run my camera on this one because they spread out so much. Sometimes they get lapped in this, like any long race. And so he kind of zooms in on the center of the lanes and follows them as best he can.
Jim, you mentioned wrestling taking place over at the launch pad at the gym tonight. Coach Mo Burns wrapping up his coaching career tonight.
Yeah,
and talk about a loss to a program.
Quality. He's a quality young man, and that'd be hard, one of the best wrestlers to come out of Titusville in the history of our wrestling program. All these years being involved in wrestling. We'll have to talk to Mo sometime and see what's the future hold for him in terms of wrestling. Probably nothing. He's got some cute nice little beagles I saw over hunting season. And I suspect we'll see Mo out in the woods with his beagles. He does like to run the beagles. We're coming down now to lap 11 for the leaders. And that's Wendell Schaefer of Grove City. She's well out in front, about a half a pool length lead over Titusville's Estock. As they make the turn, Morgan makes the turn. She's about a 3-meter lead over her competitor in lane 5. That would be Kelly Samora for Grove City. So Kimber Wendell-Schaefer of Grove City well out in front here in this long endurance race of 400 meter. She's coming up to touch for lane 13. This will be her 13th lap of the pool. I'm not sure I could walk up and down the side 13 times. Being the well-conditioned athlete I am.
And you struggled with the snow today?
Oh, did I struggle with the snow today?
Everybody did.
45 minutes shoveling out a four-wheel drive truck.
It's funny, driving through Titusville, and I went through Meadville today too, and you could see the city crews trying to figure out where to put the snow. Just think, Jim, we're about 4 weeks away from spring sports. From practice.
Yeah, well, we are. Pitchers and catchers are going to report at the end of the month in Major League Baseball. That's always a good sign. Last lap, as Wendell-Schaefer is going to swim into first place here. Kimber will pick up first place for Grove City. Titusville solid in second position as Titusville's Morgan Estock has opened up probably a 10-meter lead over Grove City's Kelly Samora. So first place goes to Grove City's Wendell-Schaefer. Titusville Morgan Estock will come in second. Third place will go to Kelly Samora of Grove City. First place time, 5 minutes, 1 second. 5:01 for the winning time. Morgan's time, second place, 5:14.9. Just a little bit higher than her 5:13.5 that we have on our paper. So that's a good race for Morgan, pretty consistent for her. Third place goes to Grove City in a time of 5:21.6. And the other gals just getting ready to finish up here on their last lap. The boys score, going into this next race for the boys, it is Grove City 67, Titusville boys 27, quite a discrepancy, 40 points. So you can see and we don't have a weak team. We got a nice team, but that just shows you how strong Grove City's boys team is. Fourth place goes to Grove City at a 5:51 time here in this freestyle.
We're coming up on event 14, Jim. 22 events here tonight. Of course, the boys got to swim their 400. Then we do a couple 200s, a couple 100s, and we wrap things up with another big one, the 400.
Oh, 400 freestyle. Always an exciting one.
Those are quicker, though.
Yeah, they're quick. They're fun to watch. Relays are always fun.
And if you notice here on the screen, you'll notice you've got other teammates, and to help keep pace with the swimmers, they'll put the number in the water so they know how many laps they have left to go.
Yep, exactly. Okay, we're going for the boys now. 400 for Titusville, Matt Koch, lane 2. Shane Steffi, lane 4. John Crispin, lane 6. For Grove City, Paul Morfer will be in lane 1. Rockwell Polkrant will be in 3, and Ben McKnight in lane 5. Good start. At least not a false start for anybody. As we go into the 400 freestyle for boys. And we're even coming up here in the touching lanes 2, 3, and 4. Check that 3, 4, and 5, excuse me.
Jim, let's take a look at how they started here. It seemed like there may have been just a slight delay, slight hesitation as they got off the blocks.
Yeah, it's interesting how and I keep going back to track because that's a sport that I did compete in. But in track and field, how people try to stand up too quickly. Here you'll see their hips coming up quick. Mm-hmm. And I'd have to talk with Kevin to see if that is a problem in the start. But you'll see that every once in a while with these kids coming off the block. It would think to me the motion needs to be towards the pool, not up. But again, that's just a neophyte's response to a situation here in swimming. Right now in lanes 3, 4, and 5, we're swimming pretty even here for a 400. Grove City out in front by a little bit in lane 3. Rockwell Polkrant, I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Hate to butcher names. Shane Steffi for Titusville, swimming in second position in lane 4, but right beside him is Ben McKnight of Grove City. If these boys stay in this position, it could be fun. Grove City in lane 3 is starting to open up a bit of a lead. Rockwell has opened up maybe a 2-meter lead. He makes the flip, and now you can see the other two boys in Titusville and Grove City turning at about the same time for second position. Again, a long way to go. We're only in lap 7, coming up on the 7th length of the pool. For all three of these swimmers.
When you look individually, Jim, Matt Cotis had a time of 5:11.67. Shane Steffi swam this in 4:50.26.
Yeah, and he's right alongside here for first place. If he has the kick, now he's swimming in third position as they're starting to open up just a little bit here after lap 7. Now they complete lap 8. And Grove City swimming 1:3. And we have no time for Polkrant of Grove City. In fact, we have no time for any of the Grove City boys, so we don't know what their average time or best time might be. As Luke mentioned, we do have a time for Matt. And we also, for Steffi, 4:50.26. And he's staying right with them. This is still anybody's race, although Grove City is swimming 1:2 right now with about a 3-4 meter lead. And they seem to be pulling away a little bit right now as they touch. But again, long way to go. This is the 400 freestyle for boys. Polkrant of Grove City swimming 1, McKnight swimming 2, and Shane Steffi of Titusville swimming 3. But I wouldn't count Steffi out just yet. He's behind by about a body length right now, although Grove City in the last couple of lengths of the pool have opened things up a little bit and starting to pick up the pace. Grove City in lanes 3 and 5 make the flip. Now 5 is starting to overtake lane 3. And that would be McKnight of Grove City in 5. Again, Steffi of Titusville swimming in third position now. He's about, I'd say, 10 meters behind.
Again, this is the boys 400.
McKnight now opening up a lead for Grove City over in lane 5. This is Ben McKnight. He's a 15-year-old. He's a young one. Going to be around for a couple more years. And Polkrant, Rockwell of Rockwell Polkrant is also a 15-year-old. So Grove City's got some distance swimmers coming back anyway. Steffi of Titusville, talk about 15-year-olds. Steffi is listed at 14 years old. So he's got a future for the Rockets. Grove City swimming 1-2, Titusville swimming 3 on the last length of the pool. And it's going to be, I believe, McKnight of Grove City as he's hanging on. Now his teammate is going to push him a little bit. Polkrant trying to come up on him. But it will be McKnight, Polkrant, and Titusville Steffi. 1-2 and 3. Grove City 1-2, and Titusville comes in 3, 4:46. That's a good time for Shane Steffi. We have for 4:50, so Shane did a good job tonight. If this was his best time, he bettered it by about 4 seconds. Good for him. Next event, girls 200-meter freestyle relay. Titusville will be swimming Barry Johnson, followed by Brooke Kenny and Tori Baldwin and Alexa Schneider. That'll be team 1 in lane 2. In lane 4, Jasmine Young, Sarah Hasbrook, Morgan Estock, and Hannah Leach. That'll be Titusville's number 2 team. For Grove City in lane 3, first team for them will be Erin Schmidt, Jenny Baglia, Kelly Samora, and Ashley McNabb. And for, Grove City only has one team in lane 6 for Titusville. Will be Claire Hillad, Lexi Couch, Stacy Bloom, and Lee Baldwin. So Titusville swimming 3 teams here in this 200 meter. Grove City swimming 1.
From McNabb. Swimming for Titusville,
4 kids up and back, each one. So it's a 4-gal sprint. As we get into the pool, Grove City with a good start in lane 3. That is Aaron Schmidt. Titusville in lane 4. Jasmine Young staying pretty close to her. Over here in lane 2, Barry Johnson of Titusville swimming well. I had better mess up that name tonight, had I? Mom's here. They come down at the end of the first swimmer, and it will be coming into the water. Baglia for Grove City. She's into the water, swimming in first position. Titusville in at second position, and that would be Sarah Hasbrook. And in third position, it would be Brooke Kenny of Titusville. On the flip, Grove City still out in front with Baglia. Titusville in lane 4 is Sarah Hasbrook. 2 more swimmers to go here in the 200 freestyle relay. Grove City still out in front. Touches. Third lady's in for Grove City, and that would be Kelly Samora. And for Titusville in lane 4, Morgan Estott is into the water. Boy, that'd be tough. She just got out of the 400 back to back. Didn't have a whole lot of rest, did she? They come down to touch out. Coming into the water will be Ashley McNabb. Excuse me, Ashley McNabb for Grove City. And for Titusville, it'll be Hannah Leach. McNabb into the water and Leach into the water for Titusville. About a 3 or 4 meter lead, but Leach, good swimmer. We'll see if Hannah can close this at all. 50 meters down that far doesn't give you a whole lot of time. There's the flip for Grove City. There's the flip for Titusville. And Hannah's going to really have to pull to come up in this. Don't think she's going to be able to catch her, but she's giving it everything. As they come down into the touch out, it'll be Grove City in first place. Hannah has closed the distance. Touch out for Grove City, touch out for Titusville. First place 2:01, Titusville at 2:02. So Hannah, good swim in the final leg of this 200 freestyle. Next up will be the boys 200 meter freestyle. Titusville will be swimming Eric McGinnis, Ryan Sines, and Cody Sines, and Zach Edwards as team 1 in lane 2. In lane 4, Seth Mellenbacher, Stephen Hollabaugh, Shane Steffi, and Austin Dieter. In lane 6 for Titusville, Robert Youngkin, Jordan Seib, Robert Campbell, and Sly Baker. For Grove City, you have Weiss, Ayers, Beck, and Morpher. In lane 1. Lane 3, Ross Stetler, Shaw, McKnight, Polkrant. And in lane 5, Crothers, Hammond, Ori, and Kengor. Here's another thing I think coaches might be doing, Luke, at this point, trying to put together your best relay teams. So you have 3 teams for each school here. Even though you may take a third as a team member, they're looking at lap times, split times. And my split time, swimming in maybe the third team for Titusville might be faster than maybe the third man on team 1. And so I'm going to be swimming for a position for our districts. So the coaches are looking at split times here.
If you could draw me a picture, I would appreciate it.
I couldn't even say it again. As we get going here in this men's freestyle, 200 meter freestyle relay on the touch in lanes 3 and 4. It is Rastetler against Mellenbacher of Titusville. Mellenbacher with a slight lead as he makes the turn coming back, getting ready for the second touch. Taking over for Titusville will be Hollabaugh. And Hollabaugh's into the water, and right beside him in lane 3 is Shaw of Grove City. Shaw now with a pulled up even, got a really good start. And as they touch out, it's going to be tied. As they turn and go the other way, nice turn by Shaw of Grove City. But here comes Hollenbaugh of Titusville, and he's going to pull it. He's really driving hard now for the touch. And Titusville may just have a slight lead as they touch. Titusville's into the water, the third swimmer, and that will be Shane Steffi, and he's up against Ben McKnight. 200 meter freestyle. One more swimmer to go. They make the turn, they're all even. Grove City swimming in third place over in lane 5. But we're battling now for first place. Grove City opening up a little bit of a lead. and that would be Ben McKnight of Grove City. Steffi falling off just an arm length maybe, as Grove City's into the water with Poke Ramp. Titusville into the water with Austin Dieter. Titusville's got some ground to make up. About a 1 meter difference. And Austin Dieter pulled up a little bit there just before the touch. They're going the other way. Can Austin pull it out? We don't know. They're pulling towards the back, towards the end. Poke Ramp with a little bit of lead. Here comes Dieter. This is going to be real close. Dieter pulling hard, and it is going to be, lane 3, 148.1. Lane 4, Titusville, 148.4. Just barely out touches. Good swim by all 4 of the Titusville swimmers in that.
Talk about the different strategies, Jim. Do you put your fastest swimmer at the front?
Yeah.
You put him at the end to try to make up any lost time? You put him in the middle. Where do you put him?
Yeah, and I think the coaches then have to know the other team. We've seen all aspects of that over the years that we've been broadcasting swimming. We used to laugh all the time with former swim coach of Titusville, Paul Stamp. He played those kinds of games all the time with the other coaches trying to play with their heads a little bit. Okay, we're into the girls' 100-meter backstroke. O'Brien of Titusville in lane 2, Brittany O'Brien. Kara Hutchison in lane 4, and Bailey Neely in lane 6 for Titusville. Excuse me, Elaine O'Rourke in lane 1 for Grove City. Renee Decker in lane 3, and Ashley McNabb in lane 5. This is the girls' 100-meter backstroke. Up out of the water, and it will be in lane 3. It appears to be Decker of Grove City with a little bit of a lead as they come up in the first length of the pool. Decker makes the turn. She's in first place. And in lane 4, Hutchison and McNabb in 5 of Grove City, very even. Coming down at the end of the first 50, it will be Renee Decker of Grove City. She's a 17-year-old at Grove City High School. Her best time coming in here we have at 1:11.5. Well out in front now. She's opened a pretty good lead. Over in lane 5 now, Ashley McNabb of Grove City is swimming in second place. She comes in with the best time of 1:18. And Hutchison of Titusville comes in with the best time of 1:21. And that's about how they're swimming right now.
Well, and Jim, I'll tell you, that paints a pretty good picture of what kind of team Grove City has. Not to take away from Titusville, but you mentioned the lowest time on Titusville is the 1:21. Lowest time for Grove City is 1:18.
And Grove City comes in at a 1:14.5.
Wow.
Yeah, so good job. Second place comes in at 1:21. Third place for Titusville comes in at 1:23. So Hutchison, just a little bit slower than what her best time is right now.
And it's funny because in swimming you wouldn't think, a couple seconds, or I should say in general you wouldn't think a couple seconds is a big deal, but swimming it's a big
fair
deal.
Amount. Yeah, that's a fair amount. Boys are down right now as they go into the 100 meter by 50 points. It's 87-37. Grove City boys on top. Girls 74-50 over the Titusville girls.
And that's going to change here with the
excuse me,
with the 100 wrapped up for them, so they'll be updating that score here shortly.
And we'll be going now to the boys 100 back.
Event number 18, the boys 100-meter backstroke. Swimming for Grove City, lane 1, Hannon, lane 3, Carruthers, lane 5, Wise. Swimming for Titusville, lane 2, McAllister, lane 4, Signs, lane 6, McGinnis.
So McAllister, Signs, and McGinnis swimming for Titusville. Hammond, Carruthers, and Weiss for Grove City. By the way, while we have a real quick second here, we need to thank Kevin Dawson and all his staff. Extremely hospitable to us as we come in tonight through the broadcast. They supply us with the information and with the start sheets and the lineups and everything. In fact, during the break, some of the lineup changes were made, and they ran off a whole new set for us. So our thanks to them. We always get a lot of cooperation from the coaches here at Titusville.
Updated score, Jim, 84-56 now. Grove City girls on top of the Rocket girls.
After the first 25 in the boys backstroke, it is Carruthers of Grove City and Signs of Titusville, excuse me, swimming 1-2. And as they touch out at the end of 50, we'll call it even. As they come out of the turn, And maybe McAllister picked up a little bit on that turn. Yeah, he has about, as they come by us here, there maybe a half a body length lead for Carruthers of Grove City. Logan Sines, Titusville Swimming's in second position. Third position now is being battled in lane 1. It is Will Hannon of Grove City. He's battling his teammate over in lane 5, Mason Weiss, but in between them in lane 2 is Max McAllister. He's right in there for a third place position. First place goes to Grove City, second to Titusville, third to Titusville. Good job. 1:16.3 for third place. First place in at 1:12. And his best time is 1:08. So Carruthers not swimming his best time here tonight. Girls 100 backstroke is up next.
Event number 19, the girls 100-meter breaststroke. Swimming for Grove City, lane 1, Schaefer, lane 3, Wendell Schaefer, lane 5, Samora. Swimming for Titusville, lane 2, Couch, lane 4, Bish, lane 6, Fennessy.
So for Titusville, Lexi Couch, lane 2, Emily Bish, lane 4, and Rachel Fennessy in lane 6. Schaefer, Wendell Schaefer, and Samora, for the Grove City gals. This is the 100-meter breaststroke. Grove City will come up out of the water after the start with Wendell Schaefer, Kimber Wendell Schaefer, 16-year-old out of Grove City High School. Out in front, her best time 1:18.5. She's going to touch first in lane 3. In lane 4, Titusville has Emily Bish, and she's tied with lane 5, Kelly Samora, for the second position right now as they finish the first 50 here. This again, the 100-meter breaststroke. Kimber Wendell Schaefer touches first as they make the turn at the midway point here in this 100 breaststroke. Over in lane 5, Kelly Samora now, just a little bit of a lead over Titusville's Emily Bish for second position. Once again, as Luke mentioned, you can hear the kids down here at this end of the pool cheering on their teammates. Both squads have girls down here. Lane 5 now is going to make the turn. Kelly Samora, she's in second position as Kimber Wendell Schaefer has this pretty well under control right now. She's got a big lead. And now in lane 5, Samora starting to open up a lead on Bish of Titusville. On paper, Bish has about a Samora has about a 9-second faster time. She'll get second place. First place at 1:23, second place 1:31. Third place for Titusville 1:35.2, So Titusville will pick up a third and a fifth place here in this event. That now will take us then to the boys' 100-meter breaststroke. As the girls get up out of the water, 2 events to go.
Boys 100-meter breaststroke. Swimming for Grove City, lane 1, Aubrey, lane 3, Samora.
Aubrey in lane 1 for Grove City. Thomas Samora in lane 3. Garrett Shaw lane 5. For Titusville, Robert Youngkin in lane 2. Matt Cote in lane 4. And Cody Sines in lane 6. 100-meter breaststroke for boys. And we look at our timesheets here. Tom Samora at a 1:08, by far the fastest swimmer in this event of the 6 boys in the water right now. At the end of the first 25, Samora has a pretty good lead, and he's swimming against his own teammate, Garrett Shaw, at a 1:15. So the 2 Grove City boys, and actually all 3 of them, have faster time than the 3 Titusville boys, and as appears as to be how they're going to swim here in the first 50 of this 100 anyway. On the turn, it will be Tom Samora for Grove City, well out in front. Second place in lane 5, Garrett Shaw. Third place over here in lane 1, Matt Ore. Titusville in lane 4, Matt Cote has a shot now at 3. He's not that far back for third place. That would be a really good swim for Matt as they make the turn. It will be Grove City picking up 1-2. But the question now will be for third place. And in lane 1, it is Ori of Grove City with a slight lead over Coate of Titusville. But Coate now is picking it up for Titusville. He's starting to pull. He might be able to bring this touch in for Titusville, a little bit behind. Afraid he's going to be about half a second behind. Third place goes to Grove City. So third place is at 1:21, fourth place at 1:22, about a half a second difference on the clock.
And here's how they got off the blocks.
It's interesting the different positions they get into.
And I'll tell you, if you notice any slight movement or hesitation towards before the horn goes off, can change how fast they get off the blocks.
Yeah, and you'll see sometimes kids learn, especially your college kids, they learn how to get that little bit of a lean, just that tenth of a second or a hundredth of a second lean, and not get caught for a false start. Coming down the last event, Titusville 400-meter relay for girls. Titusville's team, Barbie Johnson, Kenny, Wright, and Feely in lane 1. Lane 4, Young, Hasbrook, Estock, and Leach. And Titusville in lane 6 will be Neely, Bloom, Baldwin, and O'Brien. Grove City with one team, Rastetler, Reynolds, Wendell Schaefer, and Decker. Each girl swimming a freestyle, 100 meters, 4 lengths of the pool. Rastetler of Grove City at the end of the first 50 will have a slight lead if she holds her position right now over Jasmine Young of Titusville.
Boys score so far, Jim, 109.47.
Yeah, it's about what was anticipated with the strength of the Grove City boys.
Again, Jim, this one a longer start. Here's how they got off the blocks.
We're in lane 6, real slow getting in. And that was Neely of Titusville, 15-year-old. Coming down and touch out now after the first 100, and then swimming 1-2 is Titusville and Grove City. So Titusville with a chance here as they go into the water and swimming in the second position. Jasmine Young with a good swim for Titusville. Sarah Hasbrook taking over for the Rockets. And for Grove City is Addie Reynolds swimming in the second leg. But Titusville with a slight lead now. That was a good swim by Young. She was behind by a fair amount as she started to close out in the 75-meter mark. And now with Titusville swimming Sarah Hasbrook, Sarah has a slight lead. She makes the flip. Grove City flips right behind her, so it's just a slight lead for Hasbrook as right beside her is Addie Reynolds of Grove City. This could be a close one.
Yeah, we don't have all the times, Jim, but we have one relay team here of a time of 4:26.18, and we have a time for Grove City of 4:30.26.
Titusville in lane 4, swimming very well right now, and that is Sarah Hasbrook, the lead over Addie Reynolds of Grove City. Grove City was just one team in this relay, and Titusville is going to send the third girl into the pool, and that will be Morgan Estock. Boy, she swims a lot. These kids are in the water a lot. You better be in shape. And same names on almost every event.
You know, Jim, a lot of these folks come in before school and will swim a few laps and practice. These kids work hard. Swimming is certainly a sport you get home and you can pass out quite quickly.
Estock now with the lead over Wendell Schaefer of Grove City. Titusville with a pretty good lead at the end of her 50. Morgan Estock on the turn. She's got 50 to go.
Remember hearing stories of Michael Phelps swimming, and how much he ate every day because he was burning thousands of calories.
Yeah, it's too bad he wasn't good. Estock makes the turn in the last 25 of her leg. She's leading first place for Titusville as Wendell Schaefer makes the turn. She's about 5-6 meters behind, and so Titusville will put into the water the last leg. It will be Hannah Leach, good swimmer. As Hannah's on the blocks, gets set to go. There's the touch. Hannah's into the water. Grove City touch, and their last swimmer, and that would be Renee Decker, is into the pool. So this could be a close one. 100 meters to go. Make it 75 as we come up and touch. It will be Leach of Titusville on the touch. And Decker of Grove City has closed the gap a little bit. Lots of time yet. Decker pulling hard. They come down and touch at the end of 50. It's still Leach in the lead, but Decker's closing in. Leach turns, Decker turns. This could be fun. Hannah Leach now, she's got her hands full as Decker's closing in. Decker might be a little more fresh than Hannah Leach. They make the turn. Leach with about a 3-meter lead. There's the turn for Leach. Decker makes the turn. We're going the other way, and it is almost tied up. You can hear the kids are really cheering their teammates on. Leach trying to hang on. Decker closing. Leach pulling hard. It's going to be close. Here comes Decker as they go to the finish. I can't see it. It will be lane 3. Grove City with a 4:29.2. Titusville with a 4:29.4. 0.2 of a second. What a great swim. Really good swim. That was a nice swim by Renee Decker. And I'd have to go back and check our sheets. I don't remember calling the name Decker very often this evening. And I don't, taking nothing away from her, I don't mean it that way, but Hannah Leach did a lot of swimming tonight. That could have a little bit of a bearing on tiring there that last 25 meters or so. But what a great race for Hannah Leach and for the Titusville Gals. Good job. Good race. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
I'd say you're sweating, but it's hot.
Yeah, that's age too. You know, at 105, it's pretty hard. Age, not temperature.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, last event. And this will be a good one too. This is the men's, the boys, 400-meter freestyle. Titusville will have Custer, Sines, McAllister, and McGinnis in lane 2. In lane 4, Hollabaugh, Sines, Crispin, and Steffi. In lane 6 for Titusville, Campbell, Seib, Baker, and Edwards. Grove City will have McKnight, Reynolds, Samora, and Wilson in lane 3. And in lane 5, Ayers, Hannon, Wise, and Ori. This could be exciting too. As they're waiting for.
Now we're officially done.
Yeah. Waiting for the last team of Titusville to touch out. That was fun. Good swim by both teams.
Boys, 400-meter freestyle relay. Swing for Grove City, lane 3, McKnight, Reynolds, Samora, Wilson. Lane 5, Ayers, Hannon, Wise, Oury. Swing for Titusville, lane 2, Custer, Sines, McAllister, McGinnis. Lane 4, Hollabaugh, Sines, Crispin, Steffi. Lane 6, Campbell, Seib, Baker, Sines.
Set to go here as the men get up on the blocks. Custer leading for Titusville, lane 2, Hollabaugh lane 4, and Campbell lane 6 for the Rockets. It'll be McKnight and Ayers. McKnight in lane 3, Ayers in 5. And McKnight in 3 will get the first lead. He makes the first turn at 25. But right beside him for Titusville will be Hollabaugh. They go down touch for 50. It will be Grove City halfway through his leg of the 400 freestyle, excuse me. And that is McKnight. Ben McKnight, 15-year-old for Grove City. They got a lot of young kids. 16-year-old Stephen Hollabaugh for Titusville, swimming in second position. A couple of meter difference here as they make the turn.
Our final for the women, Jim, 104-66.
Yeah, strong showing by Grove City, and of course, live right up to their press clippings. Both squads very strong. At the end of the first 100, it will be Grove City touching out, and coming into the water for Grove City will be Devin Reynolds, and he has probably a 10-meter lead over Titusville's second swimmer, and that would be Logan Sines.
Jim, we'll get a look at how the relay began as they got off the blocks. It looks like a fairly even start with everybody. Big thanks to Oil Creek Plastics, the instant replay.
Grove City's Devin Reynolds is in his last 50, leading by quite a little bit here. He's got probably a good 10-meter lead over Titusville, as Titusville's second swimmer is Logan Sines. Coming in the water for Grove City will be Tom Samora. Again, if you've been here for the whole meet, you've recognized these names. These boys have been in the water in other events. Grove City opening up a large lead right now here in the 400 free. Some more into the water for Grove City. Getting ready to come in for Titusville. In lane 4 will be John Crispin. And John is in. Half a pool difference as we go into the third leg of this 400 freestyle.
Tell you what, that makes it fun to announce, Jim, when you've got that big of a lead and trying to figure out who's on which relay or.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. They make the flip here in the third leg, and it is Crispin swimming for Titusville, but Tom Samora of Grove City with a big lead. And it's still about a half a pool. Crispin has closed that gap a little bit for Titusville. There's too much of a gap. I don't think Titusville can pull it out right now as Grove City makes the turn. Samora's on his last 25. Excuse me.
Looking at the times, Jim, we've got 2 here. Titusville is coming at a time at 4 minutes, 1 second. 4:01.80, and then Grove City with the 4:06.59.
Yeah, what I don't know is whether those times are for the 4 boys that are on the team right now or if that's a different team, too. That's not mentioned to us here. That might be Titusville's best time in this event this year, but maybe not with these 4 guys. I don't know that, but just a possibility. Wilson into the water for Grove City. And for Titusville, let me see, I believe it is McAllister. Check that. It is not as Crispin yet. If it's Steffi, I'm sorry. It is Steffi. They're in the last leg. We got the Gavin there, and I missed the last leg here. So Grove City well in hand here as they're going to win this 400-meter freestyle for the boys. They have a full length of the pool lead as they come down and touch out in first place at 4:02. Titusville is swimming in second position in lane 4, and they'll come in and touch out at, that'll be Shane Steffi. Shane's a 14-year-old coming down, and he touches out. So 4:02 wins it. Titusville's in at 4:16 in second place. So Grove City will take first place. Titusville will take second and third here in this relay. So that's where they'll end up. The girls 104.96. We'll have to tally the boys. They have it 109.47 right now for a final. So a good meet. Everything we expected it to be, Luke, in that we come in knowing that Grove City was really strong, and they didn't change much here. They were very strong, pulling out this big win here at the Titusville swimming pool. But it's good events. It's always fun to watch the elites. And we'll have to watch and see what Grove City can do as they get into the regions and districts. How far will they go in depth? And also, how far will the Titusville boys go? Take nothing away from the Titusville teams. They have a great chance as a team and individuals to continue on here in the regions and districts.
Yeah, we'll just wait, Jim, to get the final tally. We can tell you the girls' score will end up 104.66. Grove City beating the Lady Rockets. Tonight's Parents' Night, Jim. They recognized the parents, and now they're recognizing, I think, some of the senior swimmers.
Yeah, it's always fun. And you know, one of the things I was noticing here during the meet, and you don't see this sometimes in your football, basketball type competitions, but you see it in your, you see it in wrestling, even though that's extremely competitive. These kids are very competitive, but when they get out of the water, they're very good friends. They know each other. They've been swimming against each other, as we mentioned, through the Y programs, the youth programs. When they come to a swim meet, they know who their competition is going to be because these kids have all been swimming against each other for a lot of years. And that's true to just in this sport, but also in your cross-country sports, in tennis, golf, those kinds of things. You can see these kids really respecting one another, really having a good time. As Luke mentioned, they are announcing seniors here tonight.
And we will bring you the final score here, Jim. In terms of boys, Grove City beating the Rockets 119.57. Ladies fall to the Lady Eagles 104-66. And again, not a big surprise. Coach Dawson talked to us prior to the start of this meet, Jim, and he just said Grove City is the best in their region. They're very good this year. Not to take away from Titusville because they've had a very good season as well.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Luke, we saw what we expected to see.
Yep.
A very strong Grove City ball swim team, but a very competitive Titus group of swimmers. So,
And
all in all, good evening.
And you get better swimming against?
Oh, the best.
The best.
I'm always in favor of schedule the best. It makes you better.
Alrighty, for Mike Holischek, Jim Bodemer, I'm Luke Rio. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, the final here, in terms of boys, Grove City beats the Rockets 119-57. On the girls' side, the Lady Eagles over the Lady Rockets 104-66. You can catch not only these games on demand by finding us on Facebook at facebook.com/Oil Region Stream. You can also find our YouTube channel as well, and our website is streamnewsnow.com.